who says, I took them in the courtyard and I beat them both. And then Ibn Umar took them inside one of the inner chambers, one of the inner rooms, and shaved their heads. Now the punishments were implemented and carried out. He says, we left it to this. There was no need of telling Umar. Now one day a letter comes from Umar, and this is what the letter read. Sayyidina Umar Farooq wrote, Min Abdullah Amir al-Mu'mineen ila al-Asi ibn al-Asi ajibtu laka ya ibn al-Asi wa li jur'atik alayya. This is what he wrote. From the servant of Allah, Umar, commander of the faithful, ila al-Asi, to the disobedient one. Ibn al-Asi, the son of a disobedient one. And he said to Amr ibn al-As, I am so surprised at you. How you went against my instruction, in spite of the fact that I made you the governor of Egypt, and I gave you preference of those that participated in Badr because of what I seen inside you, but you did what you did. You gave preference my son by punishing him in the courtyard and not treating him like you would treat the general believers. When this letter of mine reaches you, you are dismissed from your position. Send my son in a gown on a camel so he realizes the evil of his deed. Now when Sayyidina Amr ibn al-As received this letter, he wrote back, swearing by Allah that I did not treat your son differently. There are many people who I have punished in the courtyard, Muslims, non-Muslim alike. And he says, I did as his father requested, in a gown, on a camel. I sent him immediately to Madinatul Munawwara. Now, in spite of the fact that the punishment of Allah had already been implemented and he'd been punished, but such was the personality of Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, on such high standards that he'd set for himself and for his family, that when his son got to Madinatul Munawwara, he began to beat him. Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu ta'ala from the Ashari Mubashara began to Islam. Umar, let him be, let him be. The punishment of Allah has been implemented. But Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala kept on beating him, kept on reproaching him. The child began to say, oh, Abba, you're going to end up killing me. He kept on hitting him. My friends, the narration has gone as far as saying, the child fell ill as a result. And after a few days, the child expired. The child died. This was Umar when it came to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No distinction between friend and foe. He became the greatest leader mankind. Greatest leader mankind. You know, here they've made an appeal and we're struggling to actually volunteer. You know, they're not even asking you for your money. All they're asking is, you know, to volunteer and to see if you can collect £2,000. And here you have Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu becomes the greatest leader mankind has ever seen. You know, the superpowers of the time were Persia and the Rome. You know, you could equate that in this day and age with America and China. He conquered both superpowers. He conquered Armenia, Iraq, Iran, Azerbaijan, Tabaristan, Khurasan, and the list continues. 2.25 million square miles of land Umar conquered in 10 years with stability. The miracle is the stability. That he conquered millions and millions of miles of land, and whichever land he conquered, there was stability. And the reason there was stability, because of the justice of Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala. And the way he took care of those that declared La ilaha illallah. Do you know how difficult it is for a qawm to leave the deen of their forefathers and then just accept this new madhab and then not to revolt and renegade? You know, country after country he's conquering. He's in Madinatul Munawwara in the Masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and sometimes you have the treasures of Nahawan, they are thrown at his feet. Sometimes it's the treasures of Nakhir Jan, rubies, diamonds worth millions. Sometimes they are presenting him, Allahu Akbar, with the swords of the monarchs of China. Sometimes it's the robes of Anushirwan that are presented to the great Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala an. You know, on one occasion they brought him a horse of solid gold this horse was, and this horse had a silver saddle, and on the breast and chest of this horse, inside there were, you know, ruby. It was decorated with rubies and diamonds and emeralds. On one occasion they brought him a she camel of silver, solid she camel of silver. The saddle was of gold. The string of this she camel was studded with priceless rubies, and there was a rider on this she camel. From head to toe, this rider was decorated in gems, in diamonds, in emeralds, in rubies. Magnificent of all that was presented to Umar when he conquered Persia was a piece of carpet which the Persians used to call the spring. A very large piece of carpet with embroidery of trees and flowers and houses and everything that was embroidered there. It was done with golden, it was worked with golden embroidery, and the fruits and everything were decorated with diamonds and rubies. Treasures after treasures from all corners of the world is there being presented to Umar. I would not be wrong in saying that the keys to the treasures of the dunya were at the feet of Umar. And in spite of all this, this was the personality of Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala that Qatada relates. He relates, on one occasion, he's late for Jummah. People are waiting in the congregation. The congregations in the masjid waiting for the Amir al-Mu'mineen to lead the Jummah prayer. And it's time and the Amir al-Mu'mineen is not there. The Sahaba become anxious. Now all of a sudden rushing, the Amir al-Mu'mineen comes forward to the minbar and he apologizes. And what he says to the companions of Rasulullah and the believers, he apologizes and says, okay, my brothers, I'm sorry that I was delayed. The reason I was delayed is because I had washed my clothes. Listen very carefully to this. This is the Amir al-Mu'mineen. Kisra, when his name would mention, would see nightmares, terrified. These were the superpowers. And he's there washing his own clothes. And he says, I was waiting for this pair of clothes to dry. I had no clothes other than this. This is the Amir al-Mu'mineen. The Amir al-Mu'mineen. On one occasion, Zayd ibn Wahab says, I saw him in the market. And I looked at the garment that he was wearing, and he counted the patches on his garment.